Turn off your camera, dipshit.
Oh, whoops! I forgot all about that. Yeah. The funny thing is, we're live, so it's all good.
So,
I like it.
We had talked before we started about I started listening to the It's Always Sunny It's Always Sunny podcast, and how they just kind of roll into the episodes, and I think we hit the nail on the head with that one.
Yeah, I just tripped over a rock and fell on my face.
Yeah.
Welcome. So we're gonna do a couple things on this one. Right? I mean, we were kind of bullshitting before we got into this one. Slap heard around the world.
Yeah.
What the heck, Danielle? You're joining us again. Hi, by the way.
Hello.
So we had a pretty big event here happen this past Sunday. What the heck, Bob? What do you know about this?
So I know that in West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground, is where he spent most of his days. And then he went to the Oscars and slapped the shit out of Chris Rock because he made fun of his wife. Of course, talking about Will Smith.
Yeah.
I'm glad you clarified.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been Carlton, I guess. I don't know.
Well, just in case somebody's living under a rock and like really just has no idea what you're talking about.
I won't.
Honestly, Tom said it too. I had no idea the Oscars were even this weekend. Like, I had no clue about any of this shit because I just quite frankly don't care. And then I'm at work and I get a text, yo, Will Smith just slapped the shit out of Chris Rock on live TV. And I'm like, nah, get out of here. This has got to be fake. Sure as shit.
I won't mention who, because I don't want to sell this particular person out. But they came in today and were like, remember, this is Tuesday today, and we know who knows when we'll post this, but this is Tuesday today, so 2 days after the event. So did you know Will Smith slapped Chris Rock? Like, no, I hadn't heard at all.
First I'm hearing about it. Tell me more.
Yeah. Oh, so, okay. So let's get serious for a second on this whole thing. I want to hear a good, serious perspective from somebody that has a little bit more knowledge than us. And when us, I mean you and me, Bob.
Yeah.
Danielle, can you kind of, give us an overview of what exactly took place here?
I mean, you want to
not a play-by-play, but just what happened, and then give us your perspective on the whole thing.
Okay, well, Chris Rock was apparently, I didn't watch it. I just watched the uncensored, I think it was Australia's feed, because they didn't censor it. But Chris Rock was up doing his comedy stuff and was basically just playing off the cuff and kind of spanning the room and making comments. And he saw Jada Pinkett Smith and made the comment that talking about G.I. Jane 2, and that he, loved her and he can't wait to see her in that, or something along those lines. And the camera spanned, and she threw daggers at him immediately. And Will Smith was sitting there laughing. And I don't know if he just didn't know what was going on, or maybe the joke didn't register. But then the camera spans back over to Chris Rock, and then all of a sudden Will Smith is up out of his seat and, going up on stage. And I don't know. I'm so conflicted on it because she does have a medical issue, and I just find it in bad taste. It wasn't a very good joke. But then on the other perspective of it, it's not like he was comparing her to a man that's bald, or, something that's extremely offensive like he was comparing her to a movie where, you know, it happens to be a woman with a buzz cut that is doing military training that men do. I mean, it was like the first military woman that had to do that. So like, you know, it was a strong character. So I don't know, like I think it was just a bad joke. It was a bad joke, and I think that, you know, he took it the wrong way. She took it the wrong way. And I don't know if he reacted to that or if he reacted to the joke itself. I don't know. But I do know that, like, for me, I think taking it the next step and actually going up and like physically hurting somebody over words is unacceptable to me. I mean, maybe it's because I work in an elementary school, you know, and we're taught, you know, it's like use your words, you know.
Yeah, and this whole thing was it's just wild. Like, I don't know. I think you know, watching it, Bob, you've seen it, right? The
Yeah,
unedited. You saw both versions of it, like the edited version and like the
yeah,
unedited ones.
I got to see the Japanese version. So
Yeah, that's the one I watched, and it's crazy. Kept telling Danielle this, like 5 to 10% of me wants to be really skeptical to say that this was a setup just to draw interest. You know, because you know the Oscars obviously have had really bad ratings lately. It's not like they're drawing Super Bowl numbers here, and you know, if there's any take on it, you can look at the ratings, and the minute that happened, and if people start talking about it, the ratings shot through the roof.
right.
But who knows? You know, whatever. Again, like I said, a very small piece of me thinks that. You know, the other side of it too, and I think that to me is really sticks in me is like, and this will be a good lead into whenever we get into what the rest of what we're going to talk about. But Chris Rock no sold that whole thing, and that blew me away. Like, he was so shocked, he had no idea what to do.
Yeah,
Well, and
I don't think that
that's
he was in on it. Like we talked about this last night. Like I there's a part of me that kind of thinks that like it was a setup just to get people to tune in and to get people talking. But like watching Chris Rock's like reaction, I legitimately believe that. I mean, unless he's like a fantastic actor, like I don't think that he knew what was happening until like it happened.
well, like, and that's the thing. Like, you know, when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, dude, this is a work. This is a 100% work." He put his hands behind his back, and it looked like he kind of leaned into it. So I was like, "No, this is a work." And then though, I saw the uncensored, the Japanese cut or whatever you want to call it, broadcast, and when he's in the crowd yelling, "Keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth."
Yeah.
No, there was no doubt left in my mind that this was complete shoot. Like, it was real as real could be. Although I do have to say, the fact that he's like starting a comedy tour called what is it called? The Ego Death World Tour. Right after it's a little suspicious. It's a little tiny bit, but again, looking at everything taken as a whole, I'm gonna say no. It was not planned. It was not something they had worked out ahead of time. It was definitely a shoot. You know.
Yeah, like I'll play conspiracy theorist on a lot of stuff, and this one I'm not. Just with, like I said, a slice of me, I'm skeptical of it. But yeah, the way Chris Rock's reaction was there, and I saw the same thing like you just mentioned with the lean in, and but I mean, really, you know, anyone gets hit like that. I mean, yeah, I mean, you either fall or you kind of stumble down, or at least you have that reaction where it's like, what just happened? Because you're so
Well, I
stunned.
mean, if it was planned, then I don't think that it really turned out the way that they wanted to, because I mean, you know, like I think that everybody's perspective of Will Smith is different than what it was before. You know, I don't think that, like, especially like with him and Jada's like marriage issues before, I think that his public image has been rocky for a little while now, and then add to it this, like, I don't think that he's going to come out of this like, the shiny actor that he was, like, and we talked about this, like, he ended up winning for best actor, and it's his first Oscar that he won, and it's like that's always going to be connected to him going up and smacking a comedian for a joke,
Right.
like it's tainted, like that win is tainted now, like that's going to be forever connected to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but that movie, whenever anybody sees Will Smith now in that movie, is, oh, this is the one where he won the Oscar and then he slapped the shit out of Chris Rock.
Yeah. And
Like,
it's a shame because, like, I've never seen the movie, but apparently, like, I mean, the movie's called King Richard, and, like, I don't know, I just thought there's a bunch of, royalty movies and TV shows on right now. I figured that it was that, but it's actually about, like, Serena and Venus Williams,
yeah,
their dad. So it's like, not only is that, connection there, but, like, I mean, he kind of is like the face of that family.
right. And he even came out, their dad came out and made a statement after this whole thing. Now, I don't remember what it was, but I just, because I don't even think I clicked the article. I think I just saw that he had made a statement because, honestly, again, I really just don't care.
Yeah.
But
Well, and
it's just an interesting thing.
I'll say this from a woman's perspective. Okay. I think it was Tiffany Haddish that came out and said that, like, that's how she wants her man to act, that she wants her man to, basically, like, protect her. And, like, me and Tom have talked about this in depth. Like, I agree, to a point where, like, if somebody said something really nasty to me or about me, there's some sort of a level of expectancy that Tom would have my back, because he's my husband. But, like, at the end of the day, I'm a grown woman and I am more than capable of taking care of myself, so it's like, should he go say something? Yeah, but, like, should he go up and, like, smack somebody on national TV? No, that would embarrass me more. I think that it drew even more attention to, like, her medical issue than, like, what it would have been if he had just made that joke and they had just, like, laughed it off, like, nobody would have ever talked about it again. Like, it would have been over, it would have been done with. But now it's like an international thing. Everybody's talking about her and her medical issue and all this. And it just made it so much bigger of a problem than it was, than it could have been.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, I had no idea she even had alopecia. And then this all went down, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of fucked up that that he said that about her. But again, it's a joke. And you're at the Oscars, you're sitting up in the front.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're a notable person. Somebody's going to say something about you.
And I mean, it's not even like that hasn't happened at the Oscars before. I mean, like, they always, like, whatever comedian is there, they're going to roast the people that are up in front,
Right.
And that was another thing, was that, like, I had just read this. I did not see it actually happen, but there were 3 women that were also, like, hosting. It was Amy Schumer and Wanda Sykes, and then forgive me, I forget who the third one was. But one of them made a comment about, like, it was something about their open marriage, but that happened, like, earlier in the night, and it was kind of like, so I'm glad that you didn't go and smack one of them, you know,
Right.
like, so where is that line drawn that, you know, like, I don't know, maybe it was the second comment that he got was like, you know, feeling like that she was being piled on, or I don't know. But you know, like that goes with the Oscars. There's a level of, you know, joking that goes into it.
Well, just
You
to
know?
play devil's advocate, and again, you know, I don't really know where I stand on all this. I'm pretty sure that I'm against the fact that he walked up and smacked the comedian on stage, um, especially on TV and everything. I feel like you should be able to perform your art as long as you're not like saying hate speech. You should be able to perform your art and do your thing and not have to worry about getting assaulted on stage. But like, all right, the open marriage thing is something they can both completely control. That's within their realm of things that they can influence and change. The alopecia thing is something that she can't change. It's an autoimmune disorder. So I can almost see, like, I can see getting upset about it. Again, not to the point where I'm necessarily getting up out of my chair and smacking the shit out of someone. But the but that's, I guess that's where the distinction lies. But at the same time, again, you still don't put your hands on another person.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
No, I
it's just
agree.
not right.
And there's been question on whether Chris Rock knew that she had alopecia.
Right.
He
Which I'm
thought,
assuming he had no idea, because I'm assuming
yeah.
he's not that much of a dickhead.
No, I would hope that you wouldn't. Like, I would hope that if you do know that, you know, there's a medical reason, that, like, that's just being a good human being. Um, but yet again, it like also goes back to like what I was saying about how like he was comparing her to a very strong character in a movie that just so happened to have like the same, you know, physical feature, you know.
Right, right.
Um so like they could have played that, like, even though and I understand like people have said stuff about me or to me that have highly offended myself, but and I thank goodness that none of it's ever happened when I was on national TV, you know.
Right.
Um but I don't know. I just think that if they had just like brushed it off, or, you know, like what she did, like she sat there and she rolled her eyes at him. Um, like if that was the case, like he would have read, like, okay, that was overstepping it. All right, might want to leave her alone. And then they would have moved on, you
Right.
know. But as I said, like now it's like an international thing and everybody's talking about it, and you know, now they're a big joke, you know.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a heck of a way to get interest into something, because I think one of the first main comments I saw, and this makes the most sense to me, is that if this is really about garnering interest, and you know, whatever you want to call what kind of interest it's going to be, whether it's in the Oscars or the people themselves, meaning Chris Rock, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, whatever. Um, you just really painted yourself into the meme world for the rest of your careers.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And now you're going to be, at least Will Smith will be, the butt of a lot of jokes for a long time. And not like his wallet can't handle that.
Right.
But it's a certain point, your personality, I don't care how big of an ego you have, you start getting knocked down a few pegs, especially if it's over the years. I don't know. It's a
Look,
hard bet.
at the end of the day, the internet's undefeated.
Exactly.
Okay. And that's what he's going to have to do. What they're all, for better or for worse, they're all intrinsically tied together for the rest of their careers.
Yep.
And like literally as soon as that happened, I started getting texts and I started seeing memes pop up. And like the Batman and Robin, where Batman's slapping Robin, I got sent that with Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Right.
And like the best thing I saw, I think was the next day. There's a cartoonist that I follow on Facebook, and he said this morning, and it was him opening his laptop and then just billions of like little things of that act hitting him in the face, like just streaming out of his laptop, because that's literally all the internet was for like 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I got so many from different people yesterday. Just meme after meme after meme of the same thing.
About half of them were from me.
Everybody hates Chris.
Yeah, that was a good one. And it just so many good ones. And but it's funny that you're right. The internet's not defeated. And it won't be. I don't know, but heck, we just recorded on it, and so I guess it worked. They got the Noise Brigade to do it.
That's true. Well, and that's really all this was about. This was just them trying to get us to mention them. And congratulations, guys! You did it. You made the big time. You're being talked about by the Noise Brigade, the most talked about must listen podcast of all time on the internet and elsewhere. So.
I know we're going to get into some wrestling. I know, Danielle, you don't want to dive into that with us. But before we let you go, I want a prediction.
Of what?
Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns?
Ew.
We can leave it at that.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on the
John Cena. That's the answer.
My prediction is Finn Balor.
Oh God, I would love that.
That's my prediction.
Well, sadly, he's not even on the main card of WrestleMania.
I don't care, Bob. I don't care. It's always going to be Finn Balor.
Oh no! Listen, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. And I'm just saying, I'm pissed off that he's not on the main card of WrestleMania this year.
And if it can't be Finn Balor, then I'm going to go Edge.
Now Edge is facing AJ Styles, so we'll talk about that. No, thank you for giving us your Chris Rock, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith expertise.
I've always wanted to be the celebrity gossip part of a podcast, and here I am. I've accomplished my dreams.
Yeah, you're living the dream, dude.
Hey, we could do a rotating feature. There you go.
I figured that since I accomplished it, I was just going to retire.
Okay.
Yeah, you quit while you're ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how can you top this?
That's true.
I mean, if we would have learned that when we had an episode that had like 30 some people listen to it, we would have we'd be better off.
That's true. It's a good point. Oh well. Well, thanks again, Danielle. We appreciate it.
That was before you scared off all the Dutch. So
yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Scared off all the Dutch with my hatred, but no, I love the Dutch. I love them. Absolutely love them.
I wonder if Will Smith loves the Dutch.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think Will Smith has any love in him anymore.
No,
he has love for Jada. And he does. And his kids.
And some of his kids' friends have love for Jada too.
Oh,
shit. He's outside my door right now.
Boom.
All right, I'm passing over the celebrity gossip hat to Bob.
All right. All right. Thank you so much again, and we'll definitely have you on again for maybe not celebrity gossip. We'll think of something else. All right.
See you guys.
Bye.
Wow, we did that in unison.
Yeah, we did. That was awesome. All right, let's dive into some wrestling. That's funny. I think this is a good tie-in with the Smack, because one of the other things I'd heard was that Vince McMahon was trying to boost interest in WrestleMania, and that was a card now added to the match, or excuse me, a match added to the card. Yeah, card added to the match. I like that better. Yeah.
I'm the one that put that out there.
So yeah.
Vince, when you do this, you owe me money.
Oh yeah, so you've got but let's before we get into WrestleMania, because we really know, like, I think that's how we close this up. let's talk about some other wrestling things that are going on before we get into the 2-night WrestleMania. And look, you and I may not be the WWEF whatever fans that we once were, even recently. Up to about a year ago, I was still following it pretty heavily. But look, that's still the cherry on top, the top of the mountain, whatever you want to call it. So let's leave that for last.
The cream of the crop. That was fucking terrible. Jesus. No. Don't humor me on that. That was fucking terrible. And Randy Savage, Macho Man, I apologize for sullying your good name with that fucking terrible fucking impression.
It's all good, man.
It's all good. I apologize to you because yours is so far superior to mine. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. So we've got, and I'm trying to find good sources on this. Let's do you want to do Supercard of Honor since that happens Friday, April Fool's Day.
Yeah, let's do Supercard of Honor because that's the one that I'm actually more interested in.
Yeah, so this is cool. This is ROH's official return to really pay-per-view and live events. Because when was that announced that they were kind of not folding, but they were going on hiatus? Do you remember when that was announced?
It was back in December.
Okay, yeah, that's right. It's kind of right around Christmas time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So it was announced they were going on kind of a hiatus. They basically had no events. A lot of stuff had been canceled, obviously, with COVID. So you kind of had a lot of things going on there. So so they go on hiatus, and they had a final battle, if you will, in December 2021. And then now they don't do anything for several months, and it was announced they would return for Supercard of Honor 15, which is happening Friday. However, in these last 3 months, a lot has transpired. Ring of Honor is now owned by who?
Mr. Tony Khan.
And he is famous currently for a little place called AEW. It's a small venture.
Yeah, small venture that is kicking the shit out of WWE as far as at least I'm concerned with how interested I am in the product.
Just pretty much everything at this point. And again, I'm not going to sit here and just dump on WWE either, just because there's still a lot of talent that I do like. It's
all
just
right,
yeah. We'll get into that. So anyway, let's start looking at some of the card here that's been built up for. And I hate to do this. This is the college professors. My English college professors would absolutely hate me for this, but I'm going to use Wikipedia as my source. So, my apologies if I'm incorrect on this of any of these matches, or of course, card subject to change. How about that?
There you go. I've got it pulled up too, so I'll correct you if I see anything wrong.
Okay, cool. So right now, let's see. I'll just work from the bottom up, and we'll just see. So one of the matches on the card you have is Mercedes Martinez and Willow Nightingale. To kind of singles match to determine the interim ROH Women's World Champion. Now, I'm really familiar with Mercedes Martinez. She did a lot of time at NXT. I don't know Willow at all. So that's sorry.
Yeah, same.
So I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and make predictions on any of these. We'll just kind of, unless you want to, maybe some of the big ones.
Some of them, I do have some comments on some of them, but no, that particular match, I have really nothing to say.
I don't either, and only the reason why I wanted to mention that is because I did like Mercedes in NXT. I believe, if I remember correctly, she actually went through the Mae Young Classic, and I was a pretty big fan of her then. And this was before she, I believe, signed with WWE NXT. So yeah, I'm pretty familiar with her. Then you have like Josh Woods and Wheeler Yuta. I don't have much to say about
that
Go
one.
ahead.
So look, all right, Wheeler, if I can talk, Wheeler Yuta versus Josh Wood, who's the current Ring of Honor Pure Champion. All right, Wheeler Yuta has been very recently involved in an angle with Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley, and one Lord William Regal, and otherwise known as the Blackpool Combat Club. And I am very interested to see where they take Wheeler Yuta, because Wheeler Yuta has been showing up with best friends, and then he ended up having a match, and he's an intriguing talent to me, and I really am interested to see where they go from here, and whether or not he ends up joining up with the Blackpool Combat Club. He could be a really good addition to that team. So I'm very interested to see how they deal with Wheeler Yuta in this one.
Yeah, I didn't have much to say on this one. I figured you had more of a perspective on it because I had read a bit about the dealings with Bryan Danielson, and all that. So, but I really didn't have much to say on it. But yeah, that's a great undercard match for this, especially it's a great crossover match too, because it's from all accounts of what I've heard, there's going to be quite a bit of crossover with AEW initially with this. I don't know how ROH looks 6-8 months down the road.
Right.
But to get people interested back in the product, why not crossover? Why not have, and you don't have to do like an invasion angle or anything like that, because we all know that doesn't work. But you can build your brand still and keep the good brand, the good name of ROH going when there's a lot of history there, by showcasing some of the talent that either maybe used to be on it, the aforementioned Bryan Danielson, or maybe a CM Punk shows up somewhere along the way. Some of these guys that have been there before. So that's a good cross match to me. So I like that one. Jay Lethal and Lee Moriarty with one of my personal favorites, Matt Sydal, who's not wrestling, but I always liked Matt. I loved him he's one of the few people that I thought looked good out of the WWE ECW incarnation.
Right.
As Evan Bourne. I just thought he's a great high flyer. He to me I can't say he reinvented it, but I always thought he looked great for the part of that. So it's cool to see him kind of ringside here. You got anything on this match?
Yeah, this is going to be a really good one too. I mean, both of them are good workers. Both of them are really good in the ring. Jay Lethal has been getting a little bit more camera time in AEW. They've been doing a lot more with him, so I'm excited to see where he goes from here. And Lee Moriarty is a good up and comer, and so this is a match that I'm actually looking forward to too. There's some really strong matches on this card, and these are, I mean, we're talking within the first 3 matches, already 2 of them are things that I want to see. I'm checking that box. So so far, Supercard of Honor is living up to its name for me.
Yeah, this looks good. This looks already better than pretty much any of the last, 6 to 8 months worth of Raws or SmackDowns. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Not every NXT. Some of this stuff's been pretty good. Not all of it though.
Makeouts?
What's that?
The makeout session?
Well, we won't have to get into that one. Although I'm a big Dexter Lumis fan, so.
Oh, dude, I know. Me too. And it kills you that they've got him playing that role.
Yeah.
Killing people.
Swerve Strickland, Alex Zane. Swerve's another one who just recently came over from the WWE. He spent his time in NXT. So that's another one. I like him. He's super talented.
Yeah.
Great independent wrestler prior to, I believe he came through Evolve, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, he was through Evolve, went through the machine at WWE, and is now AEW. And he's actually, so interesting with him is they had him kind of team up with Keith Lee over on, I want to say Rampage is when he was last on. They had him team up with Keith Lee. He came out to make the save when Keith Lee was getting the beat down from Team Taz. So that'll be interesting too.
Yeah, it was
he's super talented.
Oh yeah. I really like him too. He's another one that I don't know. It's again misused over in NXT, and when I say he, I mean Swerve. but I don't know. It's cool to see him here, and I'm really looking forward to it. But not as much as the tag match here. And this is one that I would actually pay money to see, like good money to see. I'm not saying pay-per-view money.
Right.
The Briscoe brothers and FTR. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Woo-wee.
You want to talk about, we'll use a JRism, but a good old fashioned slobber knocker.
These boys are gonna whip the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
And look, FTR, coming through as the revival, and then really making a great name for themselves in AEW. And doing independent shots too. I'm not just saying that that's all of what they've made their name and money at. They are, to me, they're the tag team that it really reminds me of the Brain Busters.
Right.
The Bobby Heenan classic, the Arn and Tully, and I just really really enjoy their work. The Briscoes have been in ROH probably longer than anyone, I would think, at this point. I don't really know anyone else outside of maybe one or two other people, but my goodness, they've been there for a long time, and that's going to be fun.
Yeah, that one is really, really, dude. It's gonna be outstanding, and I just can't wait. I can't wait to see how it ends up playing out. I can't imagine that they're going to go and really. Obviously, both teams, they're gonna make them look good. That's a no brainer.
Oh yeah, this
Both
isn't
teams strong.
yeah, this isn't a squash.
No, no. And my thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends in a no contest, we'll say.
Yeah, no contest or some kind of crazy interference from some other person.
Right.
It's got something like that. I don't know. I really don't know. I just know it's gonna be a hard hitting. I don't know the finish. I think I do agree with you. I don't think this goes to. I think this builds into a further program, where the Briscoes, may show up on an AEW thing way down the road. I don't know. And likewise, FTR shows back up in ROH. I don't know. I don't see the Briscoes ever being a fixture outside of ROH. And I don't know. Read different things that have transpired over the years. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong in that. But this is me. It's gonna be fun. It'll be fun. All right. As far as I know, there's probably more on the card, but the main event is Jonathan Gresham and Bandito for the undisputed ROH World Champion, winner take all, which is really funny considering that this won't be the only pay-per-view with a winner take all.
Yeah. So honestly, I can say this one. I don't know anything about Jonathan Gresham. I don't know anything about Bandito. I'm assuming it's going to be a good match just based on, the fact that it's the main event on this card, and talking about some of the other matches that we're going to have. For them to put this as the main event, obviously it's got to be the guy's got to be good, and obviously if they're holding the championship and they're having a championship match, it's got to be a good match. So I would be willing to give this one the time of day.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like you. I really know nothing about Bandito, so my apologies, Mr. Bandito. Jonathan Gresham, from what I've seen and everything I've read, is probably currently right now the best wrestler in the world that's not a Bryan Danielson or of that ilk in a top. And I'm not saying that ROH isn't a top promotion, but in a WWE or AEW promotion, like strike out all the wrestlers that currently exist in both of those promotions and pretend that AEW doesn't own ROH. Jonathan Gresham would be the best in the world. That's everything that I've heard and read. I could be completely mistaken on that, But in the bit I have seen, I would be probably hard pressed to disagree. However, I'm also not that familiar right now with what's been going on in Japan and in some other places. So, but I'll leave it at that. We'll just say let's just take and we'll leave this, wipe everyone away from WWE and AEW. We'll say Mr. Gresham is best in the world. I think he wins this match and goes undisputed with it, and he'll sit atop the new ROH for quite some time. That's my take on that match.
All right. So let's move on to quote unquote the main event, and let's talk about WrestleMania. And so it's 2 nights again, and I'm looking over the card, just doing a cursory look, because honestly, like we said, I haven't been really keeping up with it. There's certain things I know are going to happen, and certain things that I have no clue about. And I don't know, man. It's not exciting me at all.
Yeah. Look, dude, and we'll kind of run through some of these matches kind of the same way we just did Supercard of Honor. And it's not to mention, before we get into this, it's not to mention there are other things going on. I believe NXT has Stand and Deliver going on. What is that, Saturday afternoon or Sunday?
It's Saturday afternoon, yeah.
And then I believe isn't Joey Janela Spring Break around the same.
Yep.
So
and I'm fairly certain AEW is running some kind of show this weekend too.
Yeah, so we got some Game Changer Wrestling doing some stuff they always have for the last several years. So we won't really get into those. I quite frankly, I looked at the card for Joey Janela Spring Break, and I don't know. I don't have enough frame of reference to really get into that. So, but I do have it on WrestleMania here. So there's a lot of wrestling going on, and all right, let's just break this down. And again, you mentioned this 2-night show. Before we get into the matches, though, what's your take on this 2-night thing?
Fuck off with your 2 nights. It needs to be back to 1 night. You're getting too much. I don't need fucking Logan Paul wrestling on my TV. Okay, I don't need that shit. What I'll say, I mean, at least they're giving time to tag teams, because there's quite a few tag team matches on the card. And they're giving time to the women, which is fantastic too. I'd love to see that. But honestly, as much as I love Johnny Knoxville and I love Sami Zayn, do we really need a Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville match on WrestleMania? I know.
Yeah.
Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. No.
Yeah.
No, there's these extra matches that are getting crammed in here that don't need to happen. And it just, like, I get it that you have a massive roster and you want to showcase everybody that you can. And I'm appreciative of that. I'm very appreciative of that. And I'd be even more appreciative of it if you actually gave shots to people like Finn Balor who fucking deserve it, instead of Logan fucking Paul.
Yeah. No Finn Balor at all in this. I believe he'll be in the
He's in the Andre.
SmackDown on the WrestleMania SmackDown on Friday in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which used to be on WrestleMania. So at least that would showcase a bunch of people there, but that's not even on either night.
Right.
So look, we've got Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair,
which will be a great match.
Yeah. That's going to be a good one. I've always liked both. I have a lot of respect for a lot of the stuff that Bianca Belair's had to deal with even getting as far as that she's had. So this is really cool, and it is for the Raw Women's Championship. So that's cool. Then you mentioned this. You got the Mysterios versus the Miz and Logan Paul.
We didn't have anybody else that we could team the Miz up with. Look, I love the Miz. Absolutely,
I do too.
Do you know my feelings on the Mysterios? I don't like Ray. I respect him, but I don't like him. But if I can't stand Dominic, I'm sorry, I'm the bad guy. Whatever, fuck it. Um, why is this match a thing? Why is Logan Paul being injected? And not only why is Logan Paul being injected in WrestleMania, I don't know if you've heard or not, but I've heard rumors that not only will Logan Paul be signed to a WWE contract,
Oh,
but that his brother will be being signed to a WWE contract as well.
oh, and what's his brother's name?
Fuckface. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Is it
Logan
is it
and
Jake Paul?
Jake. Yeah, Jake
Okay.
Paul.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, you know what? At this point, if you want to do that shit, start a separate brand, have it be all fucking stars and celebrities and shit that want to be wrestlers. So you can put Bad Bunny on there. Because, again, listen, Bad Bunny was really good when he wrestled. I've got nothing bad to say about him as a wrestler, but I don't need to see him on, taking up spots.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And it's okay. So the Drew McIntyre and Happy Corbin, whatever.
I don't give a fuck.
Because look, that's going to be a squash. I don't know how it couldn't be.
I hope.
I just don't really understand how that's even on the WrestleMania card. And that's why
And
I
that's
love
not,
and I
and
love
that's not
Drew.
anything bad. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I love Drew, and honestly, Baron Corbin is one of the best. He's one of the best heels on the roster. He's definitely, he knows what to do to make people not like him, and it's not like he doesn't have skill in the ring, but he's just not somebody that I enjoy watching. He falls into the same category for me as Rey Mysterio.
And
I recognize that he's good at his craft. I just don't care.
And think about this too. That match on paper, even with the pedigree of Drew, and I agree. I think Corbin has been a very good heel for a long time, and he's very creative. He's reinvented himself.
Right.
He's got he's been able to figure it out a little bit. That match doesn't even main event a Raw to me. I realize it's not main eventing WrestleMania, but
Right.
it has no business being on this card. And I feel really bad because it sounds like I'm dumping on Corbin in a sense, because I fully believe Drew deserves to be on the card, and I fully believe Corbin does too, just not in a match together.
Right.
Okay. And before we get into any other matches, we do have one thing we have to talk about that's pretty awesome before we completely kill whatever, because we're just going to go down the same road and just beat the crap out of this. We do have a return of the KO show.
Yes.
With a very special guest.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Ooh.
And that's the one shit, man. That's the one good thing that Raw has had going for it lately is like this past Raw, they play Stone Cold's music and Kevin Owens comes out to the ring doing Stone Cold's mannerisms and everything, has a bald cap on, right? And then he's out in the ring and he's doing his thing, and then Stone Cold's music hits again, and people thought it was Stone Cold because they're fucking stupid. And Kevin Owens is like, you fuckers really thought he was going to show up? How stupid are you? Like, clearly he didn't say fuckers because we're in the PG era. But, like, dude, this is going to be my favorite match of the night. I will almost guarantee you. The only one that I could see that might be as good is, look, I shit on Seth Rollins all the time. But damn if he isn't fucking entertaining right now, right?
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
No. But before I even go on to that, what are your thoughts on the Stone Cold and Kevin Owens?
Oh, dude, I'm all about it, man. Steve Austin was the primary reason, because I distinctly recall watching, it was probably the Raw or whatever after whatever it was, around the time of King of the Ring '96, whenever Stone Cold wins that, and that was really the shock that I needed to get back in the wrestling. So Stone Cold was the reason why I started watching ECW. He was the reason why, and this is after he was even out of there. I knew him from WCW, I had no idea he did anything in ECW until I started watching back, then. And so
Right.
he was the reason why. It wasn't The Rock and it wasn't these other guys that I really got into over time. It was him. So I've always been a Stone Cold Mark, and I'm so excited, and I love KO. So this
Yeah.
has got gold written all over it. Even if it's a bad segment, it's going to be awesome because
Yeah, no. It could be the worst fucking segment on the card, but you know what? I'm still gonna love it because it's Kevin Owens and it's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
yeah, I just hope they give him a little, a good enough time. I don't know that, I don't know what it turns into. I don't know if there's any interference. I don't know what goes on. It's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it, and it's back in Texas, so that pop is going to be ginormous,
Right.
So that's going to be cool. But you do have some other matches on night one. You have the Usos versus Shinsuke and Boogs. I still have a hard time with that name. Not that his real name is not much better, but
No, but no, dude. That's a match that I'm gonna want to watch because Shin is one of my favorites. Rick Boogs is fucking cool, and I love if I could just, I want a clean recording of him playing Shin's intro. I need a clean recording of it because it's fucking great. He's good on the guitar, man. He really is.
yeah.
And
Dude,
I got to see it live, which was
that's
fucking
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
Yeah. And I remember when he debuted in NXT and he had a losing bout, but the most exciting losing bout I've ever seen with any wrestler to Drew Gulak, and it was just fantastic. I kept saying that was like match of the year for like 3 years in a row because it was so good. I'll occasionally go back and watch it, and that's when he was going under Eric Bugenhagen.
well, dude, honestly, between him and Drew Gulak, you've got two solid workers. So I can't see that ever being.
And
I mean, they could be like 80 and in wheelchairs and throwing their shit and piss at each other. And I'd still watch it.
yeah, and it was so good because I can recall, Boogs has Drew in like a rack, kind of like a stretch, and he's like using his ribs as like guitar strings.
Nice.
It's so good.
That's awesome.
But all right, so then we got the healthy New Day guys, King Woods and Kofi versus Sheamus and look, I'm not dumping on Ridge Holland, poor guy's the one that dumped Big E on his head.
Yeah.
And with Butch, poor Pete Dunne.
Dude, what did they do to my boy? They killed my boy. Listen, and also I would have put this out here. I don't even have that match on my fucking card. So that must have been added after this card got written. So, but I mean, I'm good with that. I hate that they fucking call him Butch because it's too goddamn close to Budge, which is I don't think you follow Being the Elite at all, right?
Not really.
All right. So when AEW got Adam Cole and he showed up, there was this running joke where Dark Order was trying to recruit him. And so one of the things that they were doing was they were making fun of the fact that Vince McMahon wanted to change Adam Cole when he came to the main roster. They wanted him to cut his hair, they wanted him to change his name, and they wanted him to be a manager, and they wanted to change everything about him that made him who he is. And so they were joking around, and at first he was saying Butch is what they wanted to change. They were like, you need to change your name to Butch. And Adam Cole goes, Budge? And he's like, no, Butch. And he was trying to say Butch, but just like extend it and say it really weird. And so they ended up calling him Budge. But it's funny, though, that they then took one of the names that they were trying to make fun of them calling Adam Cole and changing fucking why can't I even remember his real fucking name?
Pete Dunne?
Yes, thank you. I wanted to call. I was way off. But yeah, they changed Pete Dunne's name to Butch.
Well,
Like,
look,
come on,
he
man.
had a cool nickname. I've got two bruiserweight shirts in my drawer right now. I loved Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne for 2017 was absolutely between him and Tyler Bate, which and I've heard some stuff with Bate. I know he's still in NXT UK, and I don't know what's going on with all that. It's an absolute travesty that we got a bunch of KO and Sami Zayn matches on the main card. It is a travesty that we have not gotten anything really of value with. I'm going to call him Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate on the main roster. It just sucks. Like you go back and watch anything that happened in NXT with those guys, and those are world-class matches every day of the week, even with what's happening now. And now you rename the Bruiserweight to Butch, and you put him with friggin' Sheamus, who, don't get me wrong, I don't hate Sheamus. I don't at all. I've always thought Sheamus was pretty talented, but and I do like his shtick, but he's cookie cutter. Maybe Sheamus 5 years down the road, I'll have a further appreciation of, like I do a Randy Orton or even John Cena, but he's of the same ilk. And it sucks because it's like, you're telling me that the Bruiserweight couldn't stand on his own? Are you kidding me? Why? Is it because he's a little too short? Like what?
That's exactly what it is. No, dude, and honestly, and here's the thing, Sheamus, I really enjoyed Sheamus when he was with Cesaro.
Oh yeah, the bar was amazing.
And that's it though. The bar, like I think you're right. I think down the road we'll look at him like a probably not like a Cena, but definitely like a Randy Orton or somebody like that, like you said, man. Because he's a dependable worker, he's skilled, but again, he falls for me into that same, and I say it over and over again, he falls in that same realm as Rey Mysterio. I recognize the skill, recognize what he can do, not one of my dudes.
Right. One more. Well, before we get into the Seth Rollins stuff, let's look at, there's Charlotte and Ronda Rousey. I like Charlotte. I don't know that I have time for this match. It is a title match. I think they're going to hit each other pretty hard. I think it'll be a good one. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it.
I give zero fucks about this match.
I just don't like. It's not even that I don't care about either competitor. I think they're both really cool in their own right for what they do, but I just don't really care. Like yeah.
I'm so tired of seeing Charlotte.
I'm a lot more excited about Becky and Bianca than I am about this one. That's for sure.
Yeah. So here's my thing, man. Charlotte, again, and I keep going back to this. I keep saying it. I sound like a broken fucking record. Charlotte Flair is talented. She's not my cup of tea. I don't need to see her wrestle anymore. I've seen every single match she could ever possibly have under the sun. I don't give a fuck. You know who should be in this match? Fucking Asuka.
Oh yeah, hands down. But again, who's not on the card?
Exactly.
All right. Before we get into night 2, there is one more match we have not really talked about in any length. Although this is the one that has the most intrigue of night 1 outside of the KO Stone Cold segment, is Seth Rollins versus somebody. Obviously, widely speculated that this is going to be Cody Rhodes, which obviously that's probably 99% of the case. However, don't you have a sneaky suspicion that Vince is going to come and announce someone else, like, I don't know, Shane or...
You know what? Part of me says that WWE will fuck this up somehow, and it'll end up being Jake Paul.
Oh,
I might actually shut Bunny again.
Huh? Who'd you say?
Or it'll be Bad Bunny.
Oh,
like, I feel like it's within the realm of possibility that they fuck this up. That said, it's only within the realm of possibility that they fuck this up because it's WWE. I think there's such a minuscule chance that it's not Cody Rhodes that I would be willing, if I could find somebody that would let me bet $1 that it's Cody Rhodes, and there'd be some awesome payout for it, I would totally do it because that's all the money I have to really gamble with. But like, if I could somehow get a loan where like, hey, you can bet $1 million on this, or you can bet $500 or 500 or 5,000 or whatever. You can bet us some money and you'll win $1 million. But if you're wrong, then we get to cut off like one of your nuts or something. I would still totally fucking make that bet because I'm so sure that it's going to be Cody Rhodes.
So here's my take on this, and this is going to be my oddball funniness, I guess. I would not be surprised if this turns out to be like a Braun Strowman or like a Ryback type thing.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm serious. Like, I would not be shocked. Now, the one other person that I would absolutely mark out for outside of Cody Rhodes, even though it's like highly expected, but let's say that that's not meant to be. Let's say he's being saved for Raw, because the Raw after WrestleMania is always something going on.
Right.
Is Bray Wyatt. I would lose my shit if it really was him. Even though I don't believe that any of those three guys are actually coming back. They're all doing their own thing at this point. However, I also know that money talks, and even for a night, just to see like the cool classic Bray Wyatt entrance at WrestleMania, I'm game for it. Who I don't hope it is. I swear to God, they better not bring the Undertaker out of retirement.
All right. So there's a lot to unpack there. So first of all, if it's fucking Braun Strowman or Ryback, I'm just gonna shit in a box and mail it to Vince. I don't care to see either of those fucking meatheads on my TV ever again. I don't ever need to see them. Bray Wyatt, I would be super stoked about. Bray Wyatt would get the best reaction out of me. I would be super happy about that. I don't think it will, but all right, since we're playing hypothetical, what if they kick down the forbidden door and in walks one Charles Montgomery Punk?
Well, I thought about that, or I thought about the Seth Rollins' former partner.
Or yeah, Moxley would be good too. Either one. There's no fucking way that either of those happen.
No.
None.
If something like that did happen,
dude, I would lose my shit.
All bets are off at that point, because then I'd really wonder who owned AEW.
Well, no. Then I would start to wonder who really owned WWE at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Except for the fact that they're a publicly traded company, so we know.
Yeah, that's true.
But I would be wondering, that to me would signal that there was some kind of announcement imminent.
Yeah.
And there's no fucking way it's happening.
No.
Let's be completely 100% honest here.
Yeah, let's come back
there.
No
fucking way that's happening. Tony Khan's got a shit ton of money. He really does. His family is fucking super rich. There's no fucking way they're buying WWE. There's no way that Vince would allow his opponent to pull a Vince on Nitro.
No.
On him. That's not, there's no fucking way that'll ever happen. Any kind of business deal that goes on where WWE gets bought, it'll be bought by somebody, some non-wrestling entity, and they'll be, it'll be very cloak and dagger until it gets announced. So honestly, it's got to be Cody. It has to be.
Yeah.
Unless it's the fucking gobbledygooker.
Yeah. No, it's Cody. I don't know who else it's really going to be. I like to throw in those things just to get you agitated. But we have night 2. We've only done night 1, so we probably won't spend as much time on these, but because there's not a whole lot of excitement here outside of a couple. But there's only one women's match on the card. We've got a 4-way for the tag titles: Queen Zelina and Carmella versus Sasha and Naomi versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan and Natalya and Baszler. And you've got a lot of super talented women there, so there's going to be some great spots there. The problem is you got so many people involved that it's either going to look kind of like a cluster, or it's just going to be a little too quick.
Right.
One of those deals, and which sucks because it's like you have a lot of highly talented people there that I do really care for and I do really like. And it's I don't know. You got any thoughts on this one?
I don't care about it. I want to care because, like you said, there's some really talented people in it, but it's going to be a cluster. It's going to be a cluster. The people you want to win are not going to fucking win. I want Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan to win, but let's be real. If we're going by who legitimately should fucking win this match,
I'll be an Italian Baszler.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
and they're not going to win either.
They're not going to fucking win.
No.
So, sorry. I love Sasha Banks. I don't really care for Naomi. I don't really care for. I like Zelina Vega when she's like doing Twitter and like off, not wrestling shit. She's entertaining on when she's on Up Up Down Down and stuff. Carmella annoys the fuck out of me. I like Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan, but they're not going to win. And Natty and Shayna really should fucking win this match, and they won't.
No, yeah, I don't. Like I said, I don't have the dog in this fight outside of the I have the same favorites that you do in this, but it sucks because it's like it's going to be just a hot mess. It's just going to be to me. It's going to be too quick to showcase anything of any of the talent from any of these women. So look, glad to see that they're all on the card because I don't know, but that's a good way to do it. But again,
Right.
a 4-way tag match is oof. They're tough.
Yeah.
It's tough either way. I don't care if it's women, guys, whoever. It doesn't matter. It's just tough. Then you have this one, the good old anything goes match, of which I don't know, is that like extreme ECW stuff? I don't know.
I would assume
the 13-time world champion Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn.
So, dude, I love Sammy. I absolutely love Sammy, and I love Johnny Knoxville. I don't know that I need this match. I'm glad Sammy's having his WrestleMania moment. I'm glad he got his big contract and he's having fun. But dude, does this match need to happen?
No, but you know how this would WWE could turn this in their Oscars moment right here.
That's true.
Because it's an anything goes match, right?
Yeah.
So Sammy could befriend Bam Margera and he could come and smack Johnny Knoxville in the face.
Oh my god. I don't know, man. I don't know. That could happen.
Speaking of celebrity matches, I guess, even though he is an announcer, but the former Indianapolis Colts punter versus Austin Theory.
Dude, and listen, I was kind of hoping that this was going to be Pat McAfee versus Vince McMahon because that would have been infinitely more entertaining from like a car crash fucking perspective. Like,
oh yeah,
Christ, like this 70-something-year-old man who's going to fucking pop both his quads getting into the ring, fucking versus a punter. Which honest, let's be real. All right, look, Pat McAfee was a badass punter. If you're gonna have you want to talk about an all Madden punter? Pat McAfee is a fucking all Madden punter, which I don't think Madden put punters on his team, but I think if he would have been doing the all Madden team when McAfee was playing, which maybe he did, I don't remember, but Pat McAfee is that punter. But I don't give a shit about this match.
Yeah, I hate this for Austin Theory because I was big with Austin. I get to see a bit of him in Evolve, and then kind of work his way up here. And he's still, man, he's kind of had a rocket ship strapped to him. I really like him. I think he's unfortunately kind of got saddled with stealing the Tyler Breeze gimmick, which kind of sucks because he doesn't need to be doing that because he doesn't really need that at all. Austin Theory's going to be world champion within probably less than 5 years. He's got the Vince stamp of approval. but to me, he's also really good. He's really talented. So it kind of sucks that he's in this. I do enjoy Pat McAfee's commentary from time to time, whatever, but I just don't know. This doesn't really. I don't know. I'm infinitely more interested in Knoxville and Sami Zayn just to kind of see the antics that come out of that.
Yeah. I think it'll be. I think the Knoxville and Sami Zayn, it's gonna be entertaining no matter what. But it's just not something I necessarily need. It could have been on Raw or SmackDown. I don't need it on.
Yeah. So okay, now we have another multi-person match here with a triple threat tag match, not a four-way, but triple threat with RK Bro, Orton and Riddle versus the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford versus the Alpha Academy of Chad Gable and Otis. And to me, and again, this kind of sounds really bad of me saying this, but it's going to be a lot like the four-way tag match where you just have a lot going on with some super, obviously, ultra talented people. Good way to get them all on the card.
Right.
And I've probably mentioned this, maybe not on here, but I've been a Montez Ford fan since I first saw him in NXT. I think that guy has just every bit of talent and then some, especially if you look up his history. The guy really did not have much wrestling background whatsoever until he went to NXT. So it's kind of a amazing thing to see. And I'm just a real big fan of his. He's just amazing. But look at these other guys, Riddle and Orton, obviously. I mean, Chad Gable, Olympic champion. But Otis is a weightlifting champion, I believe.
I thought he was a steak eating champion.
That's true. Probably that too.
I mean, either way, look, let's be real here. Any one of these teams is good. I'm not a big Matt Riddle guy. Not really a big Randy Orton guy, but I do really enjoy the Street Profits. I do really enjoy Alpha Academy. And even though I'm not individually a fan of them, I think RK Bro works because I like seeing Randy Orton annoyed. So that works for me. This match, like you said, it's going to be a cluster because it is three different tag teams, a lot of moving parts, a lot of people, a lot of just a lot. It's a lot of of big meaty men slapping meat in the ring, and so it'll be a tag match, and whatever.
Yeah, and again, it sucks because it's another one of those matches that it'll probably show up on the next night of Raw as a WrestleMania replay match. They're
going to do that.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be a rematch the next night. That's what's going to kill me is that a lot of these matches we're seeing are going to end up being rematches the next night.
Yeah. Okay, so
this next one will be rematches. Bobby Lashley versus Omos.
Yeah. Now this is a squad.
Where you were going next?
No, because I want to save we'll talk about the main event for last, but then we have the other one I want to talk, which would be my absolute favorite of the night. This Lashley and Omos match, and I hate this for Lashley. This is going to be probably I'll say an under minute and a half squash. And this is wholly designed to make Omos look like a unbeatable monster.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all this is.
That's all it is. And which sucks because you're sacrificing somebody that's actually a legitimately talented wrestler to a guy that's just really tall.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Here's my take on this. And I've had this thought in my head for a little bit now ever since I heard this. Lashley's coming back from being recently injured. So you have this guy in Lashley who's multi-talented, multi-decorated, obviously well-versed veteran. Maybe he came back too soon from injury, or maybe he's really not, healthy, really, quote unquote. And this is the squash to put him out for a longer time, and it builds almost up to. Well, we'll get into almost again here in a little bit. At least I will. So my favorite match of the night 2, though, is the Edge and AJ Styles. I don't know. What do you got? You got anything on this one?
It's going to be interesting, especially with Edge's character change. because he did go through. He's full blown heel now. He went and did the. I realize that I shouldn't be worrying about what you people think, blah blah blah, and sort of talking shit on the crowd, and so he's going. So he's clearly turned heel, and it is what it is. And AJ, I guess, is working more towards babyface, so that'll be good, I guess. I don't. It really depends. It's going to depend on how they book AJ. If they have AJ as AJ, the way that we know he can wrestle, and they do have like a knockdown, drag out, like just 5-star match, cool. Then it's going to be friggin' awesome. Can't wait. It'll probably be the best match of the weekend.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling they'll be using the toned down AJ that they've been using recently. And I'm hoping I'm wrong. Because it should be more of a high flying, more high risk, high impact AJ Styles versus a vicious Edge. So
right. And I hope you're wrong in that too, because I think that's part of the storyline into this is that AJ has been kind of beaten and downtrodden on a bit, and I think this is where they'll let him find his way back in, and I think we'll see. What sucks is I really wish we could have seen this when these guys were a little younger.
Yeah.
And again, that's nothing to take away from what they're doing now. But I think, on paper, that's the only thing that's ever going to take away from this being a 5-star match. Is because I think they're going to be at least Edge will be to a point, and even AJ now maybe a little bit more limited than they were maybe in their primes. Or I'm not saying AJ's probably still in his prime, even what is he 40 2 3 but obviously Edge has had his issues, so I don't know, has everything written on paper, even with all that, still has the possibility of being the match of the weekend. Whether we see that or not, I don't know, because quite frankly, I don't know what else will be, because the main event is, again, we mentioned this with Supercard of Honor, winner take all, but this time it's to unify, which I never thought we'd see this. This is interesting. This is the one part that makes this match interesting to me, is unification for the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship. So they're finally doing away with the split titles. They will apparently have one across both brands, which is interesting. I don't know how that's going to work out.
It's not.
I know it won't, because they'll probably create some other title.
Here's what's going to happen. This has been the long con. Roman Reigns gets turned on by Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman joins Brock, but the ref sees it. It ends in a DQ.
You think that's how WrestleMania ends?
I think WrestleMania ends at a DQ. I think somehow or another, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not Heyman. Maybe it's somebody else. I have this feeling that WWE is so disconnected right now, that Vince is so fucking disconnected, that it's going to end in a DQ. Or, here's my other prediction. Do you remember, I think it was last year, it was either last year or the year before, where Brock didn't want to wait until to be the main event. Brock wanted to go on first. So Brock went on first. And the world title match was not even the main event. It was the first match on the card. So maybe they don't even wait until the end.
Yeah,
maybe they just decide.
Yeah, and then maybe they hold something for the main event. Yeah.
Right.
So
I mean, I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong, because that's a shitty way to end it.
I have a couple takes. Remember, I'd mentioned I would say almost again.
Mm-hmm.
So you have two thoughts on this match. I don't believe it ends in DQ, but I do believe there's interference by one of two people, with Paul Heyman turning on Roman Reigns, or this interference by one of two people. Omos comes in and costs Lesnar, and Roman Reigns gets named the undisputed, unified, whatever you want to call it, champion. And then that sets up a program between those two for SummerSlam or something. Because if you're going to feed Bobby Lashley, who else are you going to do with Omos then? Seriously.
Yeah.
What else are you honestly going to do with him? Because you have nothing. You have nothing in front of him. So
No,
I'm
it's
making
true.
that assumption. If you feed Lashley to Omos, because that's what I'm thinking is going to happen, the next logical thing is to take the title off Brock and build some program between those two in for your next main thing. Or if it's not him, I at some point, and I think it would be this match, is when Gable Stevenson makes his actual debut, if you will, and cost Brock, because that immediately makes him a main eventer, and he's of the same NCAA ilk as Lesnar. I would like to see that. I don't know that it's fit to end a WrestleMania, but
Right.
I think that's certainly something that like Vince is thinking, or whoever, that's like, we can make an immediate superstar to somebody who has a ton of talent and, in some kind of interference way with this. I think Roman Reigns walks away with it. Honestly, I don't know if if Heyman actually turns on him, or even if he does, I still think Roman Reigns wins, because I think that's how he's been painted this whole time. But I don't know. Who knows? I think a lot of the ball is in Reigns' court on this, personally, with some of these other thoughts that I had. But dude, you might be dead on. This might be like it's a DQ, or it doesn't main event the show. They might
Right.
just, like you said, they might just get out of the way. And who's the thing too, just look, we're talking about what's on there now. Something may happen where it's like, look, someone gets hurt. Someone, whatever. They've got to, change things on the fly, or they do put the match first and it's like, we've announced a new main event and it's a new championship match. Who knows? But I think they've had too much build for this to end in a way where it would really turn the fans off. So I think it ends interesting. I just think it ends in an interference with Reigns winning.
Yeah, I think you're right. Honestly, at the end of the day, I can't. If it is the last match of the if it is the main event, then I can't see them really ending it in a DQ. But I think you're right, though. I there's just, it's not. I don't think it's gonna be a clean finish at all.
No
There's no way in
way.
hell it's gonna be
No
a clean
way. No
So,
chance. No
that's
chance in
gonna happen. Vince is gonna win.
Dude, I would not be shocked. At this point, I don't know. Well, I think we
Well,
beat up WrestleMania quite a bit, and
I think
look,
we did. I think
I'm still looking forward to watching it. I always do. I just hope that I get entertained with at least something on it. It's always good with a few beers. Makes it more
listen, and
entertaining.
it's 2 nights, so twice the beer.
Exactly. Now we'll dependent upon what goes on, we may recap it just to see. I don't know. We've tried to stay away from those recap shows. We just kind of like to dump on it beforehand now.
Yeah, exactly. We can shit all over it. People still don't listen regardless, and we go from there. But before we do end it for today, or for this episode, I did want to say little remembrance for Taylor Hawkins, the drummer for the Foo Fighters, one of my favorite bands. OD'd down in Colombia, and he passed away at the age of 50. Sucks, regardless of the way that someone passes. 50 years old is too damn young. And everybody's fighting their demons, so I'm not going to cast any judgment, any aspersions on him. But you have any? I've seen them twice in concert. They were fucking amazing.
Yeah. I saw Foo Fighters many years ago. Luckily, I got to see him once, and yeah, dude, it sucks, man. I saw that, woke up to that Saturday morning news, and I just, man, that really hurts, you know. And man, I just can't think some of the emotions that like Dave Grohl going through with now. It's like, man, here we go again. You know, it's
Right.
that sucks. Like I'm a big Foo Fighters fan, and yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow. And like you said, 50, I don't care. Look, fight your demons, whichever way. I don't ever want to go down that road with talking about, oh, you should have been doing that. You know,
Right.
no. Look, too young, way too young. You had a lot more to give, and I'm really grateful for all that he did give. So I just want to, you know, definitely thoughts out there for the family, and yeah, no, that's a great note to end on.
So yeah, now that we've depressed everybody, till next time, we've been the Noise Brigade. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get podcasts. And till next time, we'll see you then.